good news can often get overlooked or buried by the negative in our everyday lives, so let's change that. I'm Adrianna.
And I'm Wyatt.
We're just two ordinary people without any special qualifications or anything, trying to navigate life. We invite you to join us as we share wholesome stories, news articles of hope, and ideas about how we can all make the world just a little bit brighter. We are Uplifting Positive Stories. Welcome back to another episode of Uplifting Positive Stories. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
That threw me off for a second because we normally we're not recording on Wednesday, but it is for Wednesday. So yes, happy Wednesday indeed, not Monday post-workout. And
hope all of your weeks are going well so far. Today we got a really fun topic. Our topic for today is about making other people feel special. I feel like this is something that we all would love to have done for us, but it's easier said than done when doing it for other people, just because of our busy lives and just the stuff that is constantly on our minds that kind of gets in the way of making these intentional decisions to try to go out of our way to show people that we really do care, and not just for special occasions or things like of that nature, but just in general to show that we pay attention to them and we pay attention to their likes and their dislikes, and that we just pay attention in general to them.
I feel like that's something you're pretty good at. You're going to deny it now that you're going to say you're not good at it, but you are. I think you are, at least.
Oh,
if only you had more time to do that beyond like Christmas and
that's what makes it so
stuff.
hard. Yeah, is the time component. And it's one of those things that it takes a lot of effort and time to do. So today we have a few stories that kind of dive into this topic and are good examples of times where either someone was made to feel special or they took the time to make someone else feel heard and feel like they matter and that what they like and dislike matter. Start it all off, we're going to start with a story from the subreddit Faith in Humanity. And this story is titled, I Felt Special. The story says, I, 29 female, had a hard time sharing the things I liked with people. I grew up feeling looked over and wasn't sure anyone noticed if I was there. Family, friends, later coworkers, I just felt invisible. It's no surprise that I never really enjoyed my birthdays. They were all generic, just another day, nothing special. No one asked about my favorite color or themes or cake flavor. It was just a generic birthday for a generic person. Until a few years ago when I started working at a library. I was a part-timer and got close to my coworkers, and it turned out we had a lot in common. We all enjoyed foreign films, shows, and music, and when I told them how much I liked certain K-pop boy bands and Korean game shows, I found that some of them were interested. Cut to my birthday. I walk into our office and see my favorite boy band and Korean game show all over the room. They had decorated my cubicle and picked out my favorite colors and even purchased snacks that I liked. I had never felt more seen. It was by far the best birthday I ever had, and when I turn on my BTS lamp that my dear coworker gifted me, I remember just how special it feels when someone takes the time to get to know you.
I feel like birthdays are a tough one sometimes for people. Like I can relate a little bit with not always feeling like the extra care is given to make sure your birthday is special and beyond just like happy birthday text or like a generic, I don't know, giving of a gift card or something, you know. Obviously you're really good at doing stuff for my birthday. I know this is going to be the denial episode. You're just going to deny every nice thing I say that you do, but it's true. And so that's really nice that, you know, especially for coworkers and stuff, to kind of go the extra mile and like show their one that they've been listening.
Yeah.
And so they've put care and thought into what they did for their birthday and stuff.
Not just, you know, one thing she mentioned was a part of that theme and what was celebrated that day, but many things that she had mentioned that she liked to them. And so to take all of that, combine it, and make it into an event for her that really was her through and through, I think is really, really cool. And not something that I feel like happens a lot, especially with coworkers. You know, sometimes you can strike gold with coworkers and they're just great and you all get along and you all have similar interests and stuff, but it's not very often that you have that time to really get to know each other or to have those conversations in a lot of workplaces, I feel like. So the fact that these people clearly wanted to go that extra mile for OP and really show that they valued them as a person, I think is really, really, really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That story actually reminded me of a coworker I had who was really, really awesome. And when he was on his way out, I thought this was so cool. He, as a going away gift, since he was leaving, he had a 3D printer and he had gotten to know everybody so well in the office. And he 3D printed an object for each person that had to do with what he knew they liked. So, for example, mine, I like fantasy stuff like Dungeons and Dragons, Lord of the Rings, that kind of stuff. He 3D printed me a treasure chest that was about the size of my hand with a working hinge and everything, so you can open and close the lid, and it's awesome looking.
Didn't we just use that this last weekend?
We actually did. Yeah. It was just so cool. And so each person in the office, I think there was 5 of us at the time, got a little object that reflected something he knew about our personalities or our interests. And everyone was just amazed. It was such a cool gift because it wasn't just the fact that he gave us a gift. It was the fact that it was all personalized to us. And I thought that was just super, super cool. Mm-hmm. It's that extra effort to really show that you value somebody as a person and that you do listen to them and that what they are interested in matters, even if you don't like it yourself, right, or aren't interested in it yourself.
That's what makes it more special, especially when you don't really care for it that much. Like, right. I don't want to out you here, but you don't necessarily love Star Wars that much, but you know that I do. And so for birthdays of my past, you've like made a Star Wars themed party for me, like with my friends and stuff, and like had lightsaber frosted pretzel sticks of some kind. I can't remember exactly what it was. Yeah. And there was like Yoda dip or whatever. And like you went all out for it being a Star Wars party, even though you don't necessarily love Star Wars. You enjoy it. You watch it with me, but it's not like your passion.
Right, yeah. And what's so cool, too, is with those kind of things, it doesn't always require a lot of money, if money at all. You know, for example, when we were kids, my brother and I, every birthday, one thing that my parents would do, and I thought this was so awesome, we'd look forward to it every year, is we'd wake up and there would be a sign that they would have made and taped to the wall outside of our room or outside the kitchen that had a picture of something we were really interested in with like happy birthday Adrianna or whatever on it. Mm-hmm. And every year it would change based on what they thought we were most interested in. It was always kind of a fun thing to walk out of our bedroom in the morning and be like, oh my gosh, there's a sign and it has this thing on it that I'm really interested in, you know? Mm-hmm. It just showed that they were paying attention to us, which I mean, as parents, you tend to do, but it was just... It probably didn't cost them really much of anything minus maybe some ink and a piece of paper, but it was just an extra little thing that we'd look forward to.
I mean, don't discount the price of ink.
I mean, that's fair. But I'm just saying, like, it didn't really cost much. And that, basically, they just went into Microsoft Word, typed some stuff up, and put a picture that they found on Google Images of whatever we liked. But so it was just that extra thought that it had something on it that we really liked. And that was our birthday party. And, you know, it was just that extra little thing that we would look forward to when we were kids. So I just think sometimes it doesn't even cost money. It's just showing that you know what they're interested in. That can really make a whole difference. Mm-hmm. When I come up with topics for these podcasts, I tend to just happen to find stories and then I pull a theme from those stories. So this one, a lot of the stories involve birthdays. I'm assuming that the reason why I didn't find many else that were fitting this theme really outside of that is because I feel like birthdays can be one of those opportunities for people to kind of force them to do this kind of thing because it is all about that person, you know, and it'd be great if we could do that more than just for birthdays. But I feel like birthdays are just the one where it becomes the most obvious when people are actually making that effort.
At the very least, it's a good starting point if you're wanting to have an excuse to, because I feel like some people also like, I mean, I'm just theorizing here that maybe might feel weird if they do it on not their birthday, or like, you know, or might be worried that they could take it the wrong way or be weirded out by, you know, when it's just a kind gesture, you know, there's not really motive to it beyond just like, hey, I value as a friend or family or whatever, you know, and like, so here's I mean, I guess it's different like romantic relationships, you know, that's kind of, but just for friends, you know, I know, I'm sure that there's that concern about it being weird, like, why did you do this? What's the agenda? You know,
right?
There is no agenda.
Why can't we all just do this for each other? And yeah, how great would life be if we could? Mm-hmm. I feel like sometimes on these podcasts, these all seem very idealistic, and they are to some degree. I mean, imagining a world where everyone does this is probably unrealistic. It's just the fact that we can talk about it and maybe make little actions from these ideas, I think can sometimes add up to bigger things down the road.
I mean, why not shoot for it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to get any higher if we only aim for mid.
Exactly.
If we only shoot for what we expect it to be, we're not going to ever do better.
Right. So like I said, this next story is about a birthday as well. This story comes from a subreddit called Best of Positive Updates. And the story is titled, I Need to Tell Somebody About My Dad's Birthday. So basically, this was originally posted to the subreddit True Off My Chest. Someone saw this and saw that there was a positive update to it and then reposted it onto this subreddit. Because the subreddit is made up of other people sharing stories that they thought had a good positive ending to them or a positive update down the road.
Interesting. I feel like a lot of True Off My Chest ones are not necessarily positive, at least from the ones we've heard on like Two Hot Takes or Smosh Reddit stories.
Right, yeah. A lot of them are kind of rough, but this one is a very positive one. So
usually those ones get reposted. Am I the devil?
Exactly.
Not positive updates. So that's good to hear. Welcome to this podcast then.
So this story says, my dad's 63rd birthday is coming up. He is without a doubt the best person I know in my life. He has taught me everything I know, and he has been there for me always. He truly is the most reliable, genuine, honest, and overall outstanding human. He is my rock no matter what. He had an identical twin brother who passed away coming up on 10 years now. Since his brother passed, no one has done much for their birthdays. I assume because it's a sad day for the family now as well. But my dad is the party planner. He throws a party for everybody for any reason at all. In fact, when my parents were married, my mother bought a gorgeous cocktail dress and didn't have an event to wear it to. So my dad threw a party for her to wear her dress with about 200 people, and he had it catered.
That's like a wedding.
I know.
That's like
My dad does real estate and has taught me everything I know about real estate. And I have been working on a gift for him since September of 2017. This was original post was from November 10th, 2023. She started working on the gift for this 6 years ago.
Okay.
But I could never find a way to complete it. This year, I finally found a person who could do it, and I am surprising him with a custom Monopoly board of every property that he has ever owned in order from his least favorite to his favorite. Not necessarily in terms of monetary value, just in sentimental value for him.
But I imagine on the board, it'll have a monetary value, like Boardwalk.
Yeah, right.
I'm sure his favorite's going to be Boardwalk.
Yeah, exactly. Now I have a party being planned that he knows nothing about with a bunch of his friends coming that he hasn't seen in years. People who he wouldn't even expect to show up are going to be there for him. Best friends that he hasn't seen in a while due to health reasons are going to be there. One of his best friends who moved away a couple years ago is flying in the night before. I just needed to tell somebody about this because the only person I want to tell is him, and he's the only person I can't tell. This is also my first time ever throwing a real party, so I don't really know what I'm doing, and I wish so badly that I could ask for his advice. I just want to make sure that it's special for him because he makes every day special for the people around him. My dad is my hero. So that was posted, and then they updated it 10 days later and said, I, 24 female, threw my dad, turning 63 male, the surprise party of his dreams. Every close friend that lives in the area was there. One even flew in. He had not even the slightest idea. When him and I were walking in, I saw one friend, Bob, a very old friend who he hadn't seen in a while due to health issues and age, getting out of his car. I saw him and then looked and saw my dad see him, but it was so out of context for Bob to be there that my dad didn't even notice. So we walk in and my dad
Of course, there's always that one person that will like almost blow the cover, you know? Like,
yeah, exactly.
That happened once at a birthday plan for you, not even because of the person, because their car is just so identifiable that
It happens. It happens. It's hard to surprise people. Mm-hmm. So we walk in and my dad is absolutely floored. He is so shocked and he is so funny. He just grabbed his jacket and pretended to leave when he saw everyone. His eyes watered and he could not have been more happy, I don't think. Until when Bob walked in the door right behind him. My dad was like, "Oh my gosh, Bob!" And then he looked right at me and asked how I did it. I gave him the gift in front of everyone and explained the meaning behind it all. His eyes watered again and we passed around the gift and money with his photo on it. So apparently the Monopoly money had his photo on it instead of the little little guy with the monocle. Yeah. My dad definitely felt special that night, and I could not be more pleased to know that he finally knows how much we all love and appreciate him. Thank you for all of your support, Reddit. I love you guys. I'll add a link to a couple of photos in the comments if I can remember how to. They posted a photo of the custom Monopoly board that they had made for their dad. Yeah. I just thought this story was so fun.
the only potential flaw in that plan is if they didn't like Monopoly. Because it's such a divisive game.
I mean, it's her dad, so I'm assuming she knew if he liked it or not.
No, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
It sounds like he loved it, so.
Yeah. I just think that the fact that OP not only planned a party, invited people that maybe she didn't know very well, but were very close with her dad or knew her dad in some way. So planned a party with all these people, made it a surprise, which that's difficult to do, as we were just saying. It's very hard to plan a surprise party without the person finding out. And then went the extra mile to create a custom Monopoly game using properties he's owned over the years, because clearly real estate must be a big thing for him. That's such a cool way of showing that you care and putting that time and effort into making that kind of thing. I mean, it sounds like they work with somebody to do it, but still.
That requires research.
Yeah, right.
Whether it's like literal research of like searching up his properties and then trying to find out which ones were his favorite, unless he's just that vocal about his favorite properties, in which case you still gotta like carefully take notes to write them down and like, or just have a really good memory, I guess. Like that's a lot.
Design images for him on the board and stuff. But yeah, I just thought this was really, really cool. Like I said, birthdays are kind of one of those big opportunities to really do that.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of times, unfortunately, because everybody's so busy and dates sneak up on people and things like that, sometimes birthdays just kind of get missed and go to the wayside, and people have a birthday and it comes and goes and they don't really feel like they were appreciated, unfortunately. So
I feel like you know that pretty well because your birthday falls like days after Christmas, and so it just kind of sneaks under the radar a little bit. Which I get.
It's one of those ones that even I'm like, oh yeah, it's my birthday. I kind of forgot about that. So I feel bad for people that have it on Christmas or like New Year's. That makes it even harder. The next story here is actually not talking about birthdays, but this one is another way of...
I thought this was a birthday-themed episode.
No, it's about making people feel special. This next story is from Ask Reddit, and then someone had asked, what's the most wholesome experience you've had? And this was one of the answers on that thread. It says, I was leaving the shops once after doing a pretty big grocery shop, and as I was going into the parking area, an attendant came and helped me with my trolley and helped me pack my shopping into my car. As we were walking, he introduced himself to me and told me about how he's an opera singer and then showed me a video of him playing the piano. He then thanked me for having a conversation with him because not a lot of people can let someone help them with their trolley and actually talk to them after. As he was leaving, he told me that he is always very happy because that's what his name means. I told him that my name also means joy, and he got so excited by that fact. Literally whooped and laughed as he walked away. He was just such a nice guy, and it was overall such a positive experience. It left a smile on my face for days afterwards. I hope he's doing well.
It's always nice when you have a positive stranger interaction.
To me, I thought this was a good example of making someone feel special simply by listening to them and allowing them to be excited about something that they're interested in and not shutting it down or trying to change the subject or trying to change it back to whatever they want to talk about. Obviously, this guy was very into opera and piano and stuff, and this person took the time to watch this video of them playing the piano, and it sounds like it was a very positive interaction. They weren't just like, oh, cool, okay, thanks, bye, please leave me alone, because I feel like that unfortunately happens a lot when strangers try to initiate conversations. There's a lot of people that I feel like
that happens with family members too sometimes with each other when there's something that they just don't share in common, Yeah,
in general. Yeah, I was using strangers because of the story, but yeah, I feel
that
like
just makes it more in general. Like
good on OP.
Surprising that strangers are able to do that with each other, not in families and friends even. I'd say struggle with that sometimes, and they don't necessarily like something or have any interest in whatsoever. You gotta like fake it a little or attempt to fake it.
Yeah, and allowing them to be passionate about what it is that they're passionate about, and just be encouraging in how you talk about it with them. I think that could make all the difference, and just that alone can make someone feel special, even if it's just a little thing.
Right.
Showing interest in something that they are interested in, which we've talked about in previous episodes, but I think it's something that I know I have to remind myself about in daily life, and I think that it's something that could really make the world a better place if we all could just
treat each other with decency and care, and treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yeah, exactly. Those basic things, and just allowing people to feel special. in day-to-day life with those kind of things, allowing them to have their moment to share what's going on in their life or what things they're excited about in their lives and things like that. Take that extra moment to let them have their moment to share that and make them feel good about having shared that. And it sounds like such a no-duh thing, but I feel like it's something that we all struggle with.
Yeah.
Because again, time and mental effort and all those things are sometimes hard to come by.
And then tying back to, previous episodes, I feel like we talk about like sometimes it's hard as well when you're like in situations where you maybe don't necessarily feel like you're getting back what you're giving into a relationship or a friendship or to your family, and like sometimes it makes it a little harder to put in a little extra effort, but like it can still be really rewarding to do so, even if you don't necessarily feel like you're getting much back, That's what makes it extra hard to
Right. Yeah, exactly.
when you don't necessarily feel the special love and attention back, to still show it to them that's a pretty big thing to do.
Yeah, because like our own tanks, need to be filled as well sometimes. So it's one of those things. But yeah, if we can all take that extra effort to try, even if we don't feel like we're being valued, because sometimes, you put good out there and good will eventually come back, So our next story, back to birthdays. Like I said, there's a lot of birthdays in this episode. Here's another one. This is actually the news article for the day. This one comes from cbsnews.com. And the title of the article is Community Throws Birthday Party for Boy After Classmates Said They Wouldn't Come.
Well, that's just sad. Just off the bat. I mean, obviously it's going to be not sad when the community steps up, but the premise is sad.
Yeah, but it's got a very wholesome ending. So, the story is about a 12-year-old boy in Washington. This kid invited all of his classmates to come to his birthday party, and they all declined. So the mother went on Facebook and just kind of made a post about how heartbroken she was about the situation. Somebody that had literally met the mom a couple years before went to his wife, his name is Mike Ellis, went to his wife, and they said to themselves, what if we throw him a birthday party? So they threw a birthday party for this kid, and a bunch of people came. Like literally they had 100 people show up for his first ever birthday party. So this man,
that's again like
and
a wedding,
his wife,
smaller wedding, but yeah.
This man and his wife threw this birthday party for this kid. And later, the guy who threw the birthday party made a Facebook post, and I'll read it. This is what it says. It's on the article. Facebook message from the mom of our birthday boy. 35 birthday cards, $250 cash, 15 gift cards, presents galore, new shoes, cakes. And his favorite part of the day was talking to all of the people. And he loved the MMA fighter. What a great day.
How old is this kid?
12.
Yeah, that's a tough age to not have people come to your birthday party. I'm not going to lie. That's...
Right. Well, it sounds like him and his mom had been living in a shelter for years. And so they had just moved into this apartment. So he didn't really have many friends in the area yet. So, but it sounds like he'd never had a birthday party before in his whole life. So yeah, this was the first time. And this couple, it doesn't even say if they really were like friends with the mom, but they saw the Facebook post and were like, let's do it. Let's throw this birthday party, invite a ton of people to it, and make this kid feel special so that he gets a birthday party.
Dang.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, there's so much sad leading into it, though. Oh, I mean,
But
obviously
again,
that's kind of positive and like an uplifting ending, but man, that's heavy.
But again, though, sometimes through the sad comes the most powerful stories. Like, I go through all these things, and there's a lot of positive stuff that I read. But if it's just, I was having a great day and then somebody did this for me, it doesn't hit you as hard as when you read someone that's struggling or that is having a tough time or something sad that happened, and then people just show up in droves to turn that around and to make that person feel special or to make their day is just that much more impactful, I feel like. I don't think if this kid had already had a bunch of birthday parties and this couple decided to throw a birthday party for this year, that wouldn't hit you in the feels as much as it does, It's the fact that these people saw the situation, saw that this boy wasn't going to have a birthday party this year probably, besides just maybe something with his mom, and they were like, you know what? Let's do this. We have the means. Let's do this for this mom and her kid. Because I'm sure it meant just as much to the mom, if not even maybe more than for her son, to see the community show up for her like that, to make her kid feel special on his birthday when maybe she had felt like it was going to be a sad birthday for him since his students in his class didn't show up.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it just goes to show that it doesn't always require a bunch of money to do, because it even said she went out and listed all the things that would have been more like monetary / things that this kid got, and said new shoes, cakes, gift cards, cash. And his favorite part of the day was talking to all the people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that costs nothing.
Yeah.
Maybe just time of people,
Mm-hmm.
And showing that they care by
Mm-hmm.
showing up to this kid's birthday.
Yeah.
So to make someone feel special, it doesn't always require a schnazzy gift or a fancy party that's catered and all these things. It doesn't require that. It just requires you to show that you care in some way that is catered to the person and their interests or who they are as a person.
Mm-hmm. This reminds me a lot of during the pandemic when, they shut down orders and like people can't really go anywhere really. I mean, not as we normally would, like birthday parties can be thrown. And so like there was just story after story of like parades being done to help celebrate people's birthdays outside their windows. There was obviously a lot of, I think the fire department and police department did that a few times where they just, for a kid or whatever, like just paraded outside like with balloons and stuff and just like trying to make the kids' day even though they couldn't. And even for some old people too. I remember I had one story I had worked on. It was an older woman who was like in her 90s or something and couldn't leave her home at all and like was definitely in that risk population of like cannot be around people like just straight up. And so like all their family like paraded in their cars and trucks like outside the apartment complex and honked their horns and stuff and like they couldn't get together, and so they stepped up in a different way to try to show their appreciation for her. Yeah,
sometimes it takes a little extra thought and creativity, but you can always find a way with the resources you have available in the situation as it is, to show someone you care.
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta put in that extra thought and that extra creativity to do it.
Mm-hmm. It's
very, very wholesome.
Is there any specific moment you can think of where you were made to feel special?
Well, like I said,
outside of us, what we do for each other.
Yes. Like I said, like the treasure chest thing was one that I was like, wow. It's sometimes just little things. For example, my mother-in-law knows that I like Disney World a lot. So now whenever she sends a card, it usually has some sort of Disney theme to it, which it's just a nice little thought that, she knows I like Disney World stuff. And so she looks for cards that have that rather than just sending like a generic birthday card or whatever. So like it's little things like that just show that someone pays attention to what you like. Another one that I can think of that really struck me when it happened, I was super surprised, was when I was working at the movie theater, one of our assistant managers at the time, I shared a birthday with another girl that worked there, and so she had asked us like what our favorite color was and then what kind of cake we like, and this was out of context, so we were very confused. And then on our birthdays, we each got like a personal cake that she made with our favorite color and like what kind of cake we had said we wanted. And it was so cute. It had like the Kit Kats like lining it with like M&Ms and stuff. It looked like a cake you would find at a bakery. It was so freaking cute.
That's cool.
And we were just so shocked. It happened before I even knew you.
Oh, that's why I don't know.
It was many years ago. I was like a 17-year-old when that happened. And I just showed up to work and she was like, come up to the office. I have something for you. And we went up there and we both got these personalized cakes. I just didn't expect it. It was like I said, it was catered to us, the kind of cake we liked and the color that we liked. And it was super, super cute. Yeah. Can you think of any times in your life that I can probably go on and on and on. There's a lot more. Those are just two that like struck me as surprising when they happened. Mm-hmm. But how about for you? Do you have any moments in your life where you felt very made to feel special about something?
Well, when I was about 16, I think, I was big into doing competitive martial arts, like form competition especially with swords. And I went to compete in Washington, D.C. at like those U.S. Capitol Classics, I think it was called. I could look it up, but I'm not gonna. Anyways, my mom was living there at the time, so it made sense to me to be able to compete in that one over there. Here in Minnesota, we have Diamond Nationals, which is even bigger, but U.S. Capitol Classics is first because that's in August.
That's cool.
And at the time, a couple years prior, my instructors for a long time, not for swords specifically, but just like for karate and stuff, who I kind of like viewed as kind of mentor, second parents of sorts, Gary and Kim TV, and they had moved away to Greensboro, North Carolina, and especially Kim TV, she was like my main instructor for competition, specifically like musical forms and like how to like do that. And it had been a couple years since they had moved, and I had continued that training on my own and kind of try to develop those skills. And I was just feeling very like appreciative as I'm about to go into the scared.
Yeah.
Going to the competition. So I just sent them a message over Facebook, I think, just thanking them for the training experience. I'm about to do this tournament, and it's all thanks to like their tutelage and instructions at that time. I think the biggest I had done was like a local tournament, so not like anything national.
Yeah.
And they had just like, oh, I'm proud of you. Like, that's amazing. Rooting for you. I'm like, okay, cool. And then we go to the tournament, and I did my first competition, and I think I fumbled and I dropped the sword because I was on a trick that I was doing. So it's an instant disqualification, which is really sad.
Wow.
Yeah, if you drop your weapon, you're done. You're disqualified.
Wow.
Granted, the thing to do is then you just keep going. Like, it doesn't mean anything for you, but you should pick up the sword. You should pick up the weapon and finish the routine.
Finish it off, yeah.
Even, you're disqualified.
Oof.
I was like really nervous, and I'm like freaking out, talking to my mom. Like, okay, I screwed up. All right, I screwed up. Which again, it's normal to screw up. It happens. The number one in the world at the time, Kalman Soka, who I even did some training with at that tournament, he screwed up too. He's dropped his weapon during performance, and the thing to do is keep going. Anyways, that's a side tangent. I'm freaking out because I'm like, okay, I've screwed up, and I'm already feeling the nerves. Like, I'm talking to my mom, and just out of the corner of my eye, talking to her, there's Kim Mativi, and then Gary Mativi, and my friend Alexa for some reason, who just happened to be there.
Aww.
And I'm just like, what is going on? And they're like, apparently they had driven up from Greensboro like the day before or something.
Wow.
It's like a several hour drive. I don't know the exact amounts, but it's not a short drive. Apparently our friend was visiting them anyways, and they're like, hey, we're going to DC. Coming with? Because they knew I was competing. I mean, they did other stuff while they were up there too, but they took the time to then drive out there.
To go be at your event.
Apparently they were going to wait to reveal it to me, but they saw that I was probably scared and freaking out after I dropped my weapon. They were proud of me that I kept going, but like they could tell that I was like, okay,
just to give you that
maybe
little
I'll talk to them
morale
now.
boost.
And so that just kind of like made my heart sing,
Yeah.
But anyways, and then I competed in the next event. I didn't drop the weapon, fortunately. I didn't win either, but I did my routine successfully. To be perfectly honest, I didn't even care about the rest of the competition. I was just more blown away by the fact that they took the time to like travel out and be there at that moment. And that was just, to this day, like that's still like the most like shocking moment I've ever had. Now, granted, I know this doesn't have like, the pre-planning, the thought of like, the Monopoly board and like years and years of planning and like, they road tripped out. Still meant a ton to me.
Oh,
and like
yeah,
still
for
like,
sure.
I mean, I've been like, oh gosh, it's dating me like 13 years ago.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. That reminds me of when I was in high school and even middle school too. I used to do a lot of theater and a lot of music performances, and my great aunt and uncle would come to every single performance. Like they would literally ask me for my schedule of all of my events and stuff, and they would come to it. I got along with them really well. We weren't like extremely close, so the fact that they would purposely come to all of my events and stuff and all of my shows, and sometimes they'd bring me flowers on opening night and stuff like that, and so I would get some flowers at the end of my performances. I don't know, it just always meant so much to me. So I completely get that feeling of someone showing up for you and being there and taking that time out of their day, especially with yours traveling a pretty good distance to come, how that can mean so much too. One last little story about me and Wyatt in terms of being made to feel special was, I would say, our bridal shower. So we did like a co-ed bridal shower, and we had both of us there. And my best friend and her mom were the ones that threw it. And they both went like super out of their way to make it extra special for us. We liked movies a lot. And so we still do, but we were even more into like movies back then. They went all out of their way and they made a movie themed bridal shower where they had cupcakes that looked like they were little bags of popcorn. They were so cute. They like used marshmallows and like molded them into little popcorn pieces and like painted them to look like popcorn. It was so cute. They gave us like director chairs that had our names on them and stuff, and we got to sit in those while we opened our gifts. Like, it was just so incredibly thoughtful. They went the extra mile to put the creativity into, okay, well, they like movies. How can we show that in their bridal shower? How can we make this bridal shower very catered to them? On that note of all these positive stories, we are going to end our podcast for this week. Tune in next Wednesday for our next episode. And if you would like to share any positive stories, big or small, it doesn't matter, feel free to send them to us at upliftingpositivestories@gmail.com, and then we'll share them on our podcast. Or you can join our Facebook group, Uplifting Positive Stories, and you can share them anonymously on there very easily. We'd love to have you, so feel free to hit join, and we will add you to the group. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you all have a great rest of your week.
And stay positive.